All right, we're here with the men's under 23 four final. This is, the last two races we've had all Canadian crews. Perhaps not so much the case here in event number 70. In lane two, you've got Mendota. They're the closest crew to the camera. Then you've got Riverside. Then Mendota again. Then Mendota again. Then the University of Victoria, and then the Henderson Development Program.
Wow. So yeah, Mendota bringing in three boats to this final. Um, they are definitely a strong program. They're kind of a University of Wisconsin training camp, if that makes sense. So they row with these guys all year round. They row together, and they've really built a good program over the years.
Yeah, and then of course Riverside out of Boston. They are perennially one of the, I think, strongest programs, certainly one of the mainstays of the American club system out of Boston on the Charles River. Of course, certainly in a month or two, all the athletes will be migrating, certainly from all over North America and sometimes even all over the globe to compete there, where Riverside will try and defend their kind of home waters. And even on the far side in lane 7, the Henderson Development Program, they won this event last year.
Wow. So we have a start. Everyone building the rate up. Looks like pretty even. The only crew that has been slightly dropped off the start is the University of Victoria. Everybody else is really winding it up and getting a good start on.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see the psychology perhaps in the this race as it unfolds. You get the three Mendota crews, which almost certainly are familiar with each other, probably did through a lot of seat racing, a lot of pieces against
Yes.
each other over the course of the whole summer, and of course, all share the same coach, Bo Hoopman. He is himself a University of Wisconsin alumni, as I believe. He, of course, as well is an American national team athlete. He has been an Olympian 2 times over. He was in the world record setting crew at the 2004 Athens Games in the men's heavy eight that not only set that record in the heats but won a gold medal. And then he continued on training in 2008 for the Beijing Games, taking a bronze medal in the men's heavyweight eight. So Bo Hoopman, the coach here at Mendota's program, they've got three boats in this final, and it'll be interesting to see which, if any of them, are going to take this medal home.
All right, so coming into the first 500-meter mark, it is Henderson and Mendota with their bows close. Now in front, Mendota has it by about a half a bow length, followed by Henderson, followed by Mendota, followed by UVic, Riverside, then the third Mendota boat.
Yeah, and so that was Mendota lane 4. That's Tyler Stevens, Philip Bogdanov, Kyle McCarthy, and Dylan Adams, who are just leading the rest of the field. Still pretty tight racing after the first 500 meters. It'll be exciting, I think, to see how the rest of this field plays out.
Yes, definitely. It's a tight race. So keep in mind in these boats, these are straight fours, so they do not have a coxie keeping them straight. So you'll sometimes see in the back of the screen the referees holding up a flag directing the boat back into their lane. It can be very difficult. You know, you're racing as hard as you can. You're kind of almost, it's hot out, you're sweating, and to be able to keep yourself focused enough to steer and give everything you have is definitely a challenge. So when you see the ref holding up a white flag, the bow person or the stroke person will be turning their toe or making a call to get the boat back in its correct position.
Yeah, and really the role of the umpires here is to make sure that all the racing is fair and safe. So they're not going to help certainly with the senior athletes here in an under 23 event, but even in the junior events, it's not their job as umpires to make sure you go completely straight.
Yes.
What they're really looking for is to make sure that you do not impede on another crew, to make sure that you do not go so far out of your course that you're coming over those buoys, coming into someone else's water that they've got the right to.
Yes. All right. So 1,000-meter mark. It is Mendota in lane 4 with the lead. Then Henderson slightly over Mendota in lane 5. Then the University of Victoria. Then Mendota at lane 2, and followed up by Riverside.
One interesting thing to note, of course, we do say that the Mendota crews are basically the University of Wisconsin as like a summer program. Similarly, Henderson, again, I don't have my notes in front of me at the moment. I forget which university they are a development camp for, but what you will see out of these programs, as much as they're developing the athletes for the summer, getting that summer racing, maybe leading them into the fall, and then of course the spring racing season is the season for the American University circuits. What you'll also see out of the athletes that do this summer program, of course, thank you, Katie, providing me with that information, finding it. Henderson is out of the Northeastern University in, are they in Boston?
Boston, yep, on the Charles.
Excellent. So they are, I'm sure, probably pretty familiar with Riverside. But the point I was making is you'll see some of these athletes from these development programs trying to make the national team next year. So last year, as I said, Henderson did win this event in a time of 6:09.99, and the bow pair from that Henderson crew that won in 2017, they went on to race this year at the Under-23 World Championships for the United States in the pair, where they placed 15th.
Wow, interesting. All right, so coming up to the 1,500 meter mark, it is Mendota with about a length up on Mendota. So lane 4 Mendota up on lane 5 Mendota, followed by Henderson, closely followed by Henderson, followed by the University of Victoria, then Mendota from lane 2, followed up by Riverside Boat Club.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if Mendota lane 5, they were down on Henderson for the first kind of half this race. They've worked their way up, and we were talking about this in the last race, the women's lightweight 8, that was a straight final. Difficult situation there. If you get dropped in a dual race, really, there's only 2 crews. If you get dropped, it can be difficult to work off when there's no other crew around you. That is what Mendota in lane 5 have done. They were down on the leading crew. That's Mendota lane 4, who have led this race for 1,500 meters. Mendota lane 5, they were down. They were sitting in 3rd for the first half of the race. They worked through the Henderson crew in lane 7. They've moved themselves up. They are sitting in 2nd. They're going to be chasing down, trying to put on a finish, seeing if they can catch their teammates in lane 4 who have led this race. And it, I think, is going to be an exciting race to see if Mendota in lane 4 can hold off a charge from Mendota in lane 5. So in lane 5, that's William Alt, Jacob Wenner, Kurt Muller, and Adam Wecking trying to chase down Tyler, Philip, Kyle, and Dylan, their teammates in lane 4, all from Mendota as they approach the finish line.
Yeah, it looks like Henderson is having a good finish as well. So coming up to the line here, everybody has brought the rate up. Everybody is sprinting it out. It is going to be Mendota in lane 4 coming through the line first. They have about 3 more strokes. And then Mendota, lane 5, goes through. And then Henderson.
Wow, well done, well raced. Mendota lane 4 dominating this race throughout the course of the 2,000 meter stretch, but certainly chased down and pushed pretty hard by Mendota and Henderson, who had a nice battle there for 2nd and 3rd place. Unofficially, the times on your screen showing a 6:28.22. That's a 2.4 second victory over Mendota.
Yeah, inter-team rivalry going on right there. That was a good race.
I imagine those guys will combine for an 8, perhaps in a week or